Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I shall see what's going on on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. Well, we'll talk about, I don't really know, to be honest, what we'll talk about. It's quite a hot day today here in the UK. I just finished playing some Baldur's Gate 3 with some of my friends. It was a lot of fun. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil people, because it's still a relatively new game, and yeah, I don't know, there's not really much to say. Sorry, having a sip of water. What should we talk about? I'm not really sure. I need to record somewhere, but I haven't really had a lot of opportunity to record videos recently, so I don't know what my backlog's like. I also don't know what my comment situation's like. I don't know if there's been all that many I haven't responded to. There's a few, and I definitely need to. Anyway, hello there everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:07 PM on Sunday, August 20th, 2023. Fireworks show at 7 PM, which we're not going to check out, sorry. And we're going to talk about, I don't know. I mean, I use Pokemon Sleep again. Surprisingly, it only drains about 40% battery, is what I found out, because I went from 80% to 40% today. Actually, you can see, like, battery, like, charts, can't you, on your phone? Doesn't it have, like, a graph? Set schedule? No. I want to see my battery power graph throughout the day. I was going to say Animal Crossing, not Animal Crossing. Oh, mobile phone. The greatest. Like, I don't know, I've had my fair share of phones. By fair share, I mean like 2 phones, which have incredibly low battery lifespan. This one's not, I wouldn't say incredibly low. I think it's, I mean, it says 16 hours, 30 minutes left. Like, I guess that would probably be true if I never used my phone for anything. But certainly it can't, it's probably about like 8 hours screen on sort of battery, and like this battery is definitely not right. Battery level since last charge. Oh no, because I fully charged my battery. I can't see that far backwards. It's mostly just my games which have a battery level. Adaptive preferences. I don't know. If anything, maybe I should turn battery saver on when I do Pokemon Sleep. Anyway, the Pokemon Sleep thing is pretty funny because I mean, I spoke about it but yesterday. I won't talk about it ad nauseum again. But basically, if you don't know, it's just like, I mean, I compared it with my friends' like slumbering charts, and theirs is, you know, I assume much more normal of it going up and down, and mine is just like immediately to slumber, and that's like it for the rest of the night. So and I need to respond to my friend because they've sent a load of things which I was gonna talk about with them, but I was in the middle of Baldur's Gate, so it was not so easy to read at the same time. But you know, I'll read that in a second. Mark Unread. What a fantastic feature, by the way. Whereas, you know, I'm guilty of it. I'm sure a lot of people are guilty of it as well. You know, sometimes I'll see a message and I'll like read it either in the sort of like little drop down, or like the notification which comes up, or I'll read it and be like, oh, you know, and not like oh, but I'll read it and be like, oh, you know, this is something which requires more thought. I need to respond to this later after I've like turned it over in my head a bit. And I'm very much guilty of doing it, and sometimes I forget to respond to a message. I do my best not to, because I often use the markers unread. So basically being, as soon as I read it, I will mark unread and then click off it. So I will still have a notification there, and it will remind me to go back and be like, I need to respond to this message. But I don't know if everyone necessarily does that, to be honest. And if you don't, that's fair enough. It's not part of your conversational flow, which is, you know, that's fair. That's just life, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say about this. Yeah, mark unread. I don't know. Because I'm thinking back to the days of Skype. Because Skype used to be our messaging platform of choice with my like group of friends in circle. When I was younger, because that was basically like one of the only options, to be perfectly honest. We had Skype. And then when Skype went down a few times, we no joke, we used Google Hangouts or whatever it's called. You might not even know what that is, but Google certainly had a few forays into other apps, but then they sort of leave them to wither and die, and then like never give them updates or anything. So they're sort of unused in the end. But yeah, but we used to use Skype, and Skype is obviously nowadays I would not necessarily recommend it as a conversational platform, because it's only recently they had end-to-end encryption or something, right? I'm not an expert in like safety protocols or whatever, like communication protocols. So I'm not exactly sure what Skype did, but it was for a while Skype basically was not safe necessarily. It's like you can get your IP, you can get people's IP. You were used to be able to get people's IP address through Skype, which I don't think is true anymore, mind you. So if you are using it, then at least maybe Google it, see if it's still true. But back in my day, when I used to use it, it was true. It was like people. I remember stories like of pro League of Legends players getting doxxed, you know, because their IP address got found out through Skype, which is a scary thought, certainly. But yeah, Skype used to be one that was our go-to, and Skype had some very weird functionalities from what I remember. Like, I remember, it's not like the way that Discord works now where you can like drop in and out of calls. It's basically someone had to host the call. It's kind of like how Zoom is now, I suppose. I guess Zoom is kind of like, it took Skype and then went in a work direction, and then Discord took Skype and went and made it like a recreational direction. And I'll be honest, I prefer using Discord over Skype and Zoom and all these things by a lot. But, you know, it's nice to have a separation, I think. But yeah, it's like how Zoom works, like, you know, like where you need someone to host a meeting of a call. It's basically you had to have someone be the host of a Skype call, and if they drop the call, it would drop the call for everyone, and then someone else would have to become a host and recall everyone. So I always used to be the person, because I was the one who like left my computer on and things like that, and had a good internet connection, because I think it was based off the host's internet connection, sort of. So I would always start the call when someone was like, hey, you know, and people are like chatting, and they'll be like, you want to call? And then they'll be like, oh dear darling, you in chat, can you start the call? And I'd be like, okay. And I'd either be there muted, or I'd be there conversing. A lot of time I was there conversing, but a lot of time I was also muted when I was just like, oh, I'm not here to be in a call right now. I'm just here to, you know, be the host. But yeah, what was I going to say with this? So, yeah, it's a bit weird. But Skype also had a lot of other features. One of them I remember is when we had our group chat with everyone. And it's so weird to say it, because we used Skype because we couldn't use MSN anymore, because MSN didn't have good group video, a good audio call. It had no, in fact, group audio call functionalities. You can only do one-on-one audio calls, and you can have group chats, but you can have both for some reason. Which is a massive market space, which I guess, you know, fair enough to Skype stepping into. But now it doesn't matter, I guess, because they're both owned by Microsoft. Yeah, so that's how we use Skype. But it was so weird, because when we created a group chat, we found out pretty early on that you could actually edit other people's messages in the group chat for, I don't know why. I think it might have been like an admin only thing, which I might have been the one to create the group chat. I can't remember, so I was an admin. That's all I remember. I remember it was not even a very funny prank, but I don't know why this was something we did. But, you know, I'm going to say that, you know, we were 12 and, you know, we didn't really think things through all that well. But I remember one of my friends typing, and we tried to like convince him he was haunted or something by editing his messages. You might be like, did you participate? I think I probably did edit a message or two, I'm going to be honest. And, you know, was it very nice? No, but, you know, preteens and teens aren't exactly the nicest when it comes to healthy prank boundaries. I mean, it's not like a worse thing. Well, I didn't like commit a crime or something. It's not go that far. It was just sort of like I'd change a word, and you'd be like, what is going on? I told him about it the next day, though, so you can rest assured that he's not been haunted to this day. And might I add, it was certainly one of my other friends is very much a ringleader for that sort of thing. Yeah, nowadays, obviously, I would not do that. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, you can do it if you want, but, you know, don't go too far, obviously. You know, I don't talk about pranks all that much, but I say that I'm not really much of a prankster or jokester and that sort of thing, but I understand that pranks can be fun, and people do enjoy them, you know, as long as, you know, both parties can laugh at it at the end, then your pranks can kind of be whatever you want. You just have to know the other party well enough. Because there's certainly a lot of pranks out there which I'd be like, that'd be so harsh. I'd be so upset if like one of my friends did that to me, and some people would be like, yes, that is probably like peak comedy, even if it happens to me. That's fair enough. Everyone's got different likes and, you know, boundaries, and as long as you respect them, then that's really how it should be, you know? But yeah. Anyway, Skype had some weird functionalities like that, the fact that you can edit other people's messages. What else could you do? I mean, you could just like straight up delete other people's messages, and there was like no way of knowing. I'm just thinking back to, you know, teenage me and my teenage friends. Well, obviously, we're not nearly as mature as we are now as adults, and even now we'll probably not be as mature as we will be in like 40 years time or something. Maybe. I don't know when peak maturity comes in. I'm going to guess it's like mid-30s or mid-30s to mid-40s or something like that. And then, you know, you start getting too old and you're just like, whatever, you know, what's a meme? Screw it, we roll. Screw it, we roll, or whatever. No, screw it, we ball. That's it. And you're like, it's not screw, it's a swear word. I'm not gonna swear in these YouTube videos. And certainly now, I think I'm probably too young to consider myself the peak of maturity. But yeah, this thing about teenagers, so dramatic for really no reason. I remember because you could make people Skype admins and that sort of thing, and Skype admins had the control. They could like kick people from the call and stuff like that. And I remember because I made a call, I was like the head admin or whatever of the call, and then I could make other people admin. And I was like, okay, I'm not always going to be here, so if people are annoying, I think I made like the 3 people who joined the call first to be an admin, as well, or like a moderator or something like that. And then I remember there was some scuffle which happened while I wasn't there, and there was like some sort of weird revolution thing going on in Skype. And they were just like, oh, why can't everyone be an admin? And I was like, I don't really think I had enough what's the word, self-awareness to be like, I don't think we should give 12 teenagers, all of us, powers to like kick people and ban people or whatever from this call for no apparent reason. I trust myself, which is obviously, I think a lot of people do trust themselves, and maybe that's the first failing of a tyrannical dictator or something of a Skype call. But in retrospect, what I probably would have done would be like, all right, just like, I'll take away moderator privileges for everyone. This is stupid. Like, either we all have them or we don't have them. There was no point of us all having them, because then that's just another headache for me to sort out. Because there's so much random drama. I say drama, it's not like huge drama. We're still all friends to this day, because we can obviously look back and be like, we're pretty dumb as teenagers, weren't we? If you're a teenager now, I will tell you that everyone will be succumbed to that fate eventually. And me too, I can't wait necessarily, but there's things now probably, I worry too much about, but I just imagine 35-year-old me looking back at me right now being like, what? I'm such an idiot. Like, these things don't matter. Why am I so concerned about them? Look at me now, etc., etc. And it gives a sense of comfort. So, me right now thinking about 15-year-old me, I'm just like, eye roll, come on, what are you doing? That's going to be me in 10 years as well, looking at me now. And that is comforting. I suppose that sense of progression, in a sense. But yeah, it's just so dramatic with this guy. But actually, we had one recently. I say that in a Discord call, but this one was much more lighthearted. It was not, like teenage emotions and angst at each other. It was more like stupid. it was just weird. I'm not going to go into full details because it was much more recent, and obviously we've reconciled what happened. So I guess maybe you never grow too old, is what I mean to say. Oh man, thinking about those Skype conversations is so random now I think about it. What, did anything else particularly dramatic happen? Oh, I remember the resolution to what happened of everyone becoming like a moderator in that Skype call is I accidentally left the call or something? Or I can't remember. I either got removed somehow or I left somehow. And instead of doing a very sensible thing of the Skype thing being like, hey, you need to make someone else a moderator or an admin before you leave, otherwise you can't leave us. It goes, okay, well, the admin wants to leave. I guess we'll let them. And in place of doing that, we'll make everyone an admin as well. So I left and then got re-invited back. And it turns out everyone was an admin. But I think by that age, we were like near sixth form. So, we were much more reasonable about things. It is funny to think back to that way. Those times. Ow. How dramatic school lives can be. And how pointless, I suppose, a lot of the drama seems. I mean, again, I say that about my teenage life. It's probably also true about my young adult life. But, I mean, I run into significantly less drama, I would say, nowadays, which is good, I would say. I'm not really one for drama in the first place. I'm not really one to chase it. I certainly try not to be one to stoke it. But yeah, I don't really know where I was going with this. It's just really hot. Anyway, mark as unread. If you don't use that functionality, I would highly recommend it. It's pretty good to, remind yourself of things. Although, nowadays, with the amount of like bots, I suppose, and things, you can like probably just get a bot in your Discord server to be reminder. To be a built-in reminder bot to be like, hey, remind me of XYZ in whatever amount of time, which is fair enough. I feel like my throat also recently has been like literally like I want to cough and clear my throat, but I can't properly. I'm also going to crack the window open. It is like stuffy in here. I don't know if it's much cold outside. I mean, there's a little bit of a light breeze. The thing is, I don't like having window too big open because then like insects start coming in. And I don't really have a thing against the insects. It's just like, internally I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want the insects to die, so I want to leave them out. So I'm also trying to do my hair at the same time. I don't want them to die, so I'm going to try and leave them out here. But it's honestly quite a nuisance, you know. It's very tiring trying to like catch them off in like a little pot or something and walk out to the window and just like release it like that. Like some insects are better than others. Flies are like impossible. Wasps and bees are surprisingly not too bad. It's just like, as long as they don't get too angry. It's a bit spooky, I suppose, because I don't want to get stung. And actually, now I think about it, moths aren't too bad either. Spiders are actually one of the easiest, believe it or not. Because they'll crawl on basically anything you put in front of them. But the real problem are the skittish spiders, which just absolutely panic when anything comes near them. They're just like, oh my god. And then they just like start running like crazy. And I'm like, oh, such a pain to chase you. Anyway, sorry. Mark is unread. It's so weird to think about the Skype days. And it is strange that you can just... I mean, it's not strange that you can delete other messages, I suppose. But it was just like, for a while, anyone could edit anyone's messages. Anyone could delete any other's messages. I mean, I'm sure Skype didn't have that... the use case, I suppose, in mind. It was probably just like, I don't know. They probably thought people would just use Skype group calls for just like making very temporary ones and would not have a permanent sort of server thing. But I'll be honest, I do like the Discord server functionality a lot. It's useful, I think, to have all these different servers, all these channels, which you can sort things out. Do people use them? Yeah. Do people not? Fair enough. I don't really know what I was going with this. I guess I'm going to round this episode off here. I don't really have much else conversation to say. And I probably need to record some Railbound today. So anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. And likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.